courthouse right there. It's a probation department right there. Used to be. Used to go see the PO probation officer right there. This is the world famous City Hall. So it is. Going to Tongva Park, check out this protest against the immigration ICE crackdowns on the Latino community. Not just the Latino, but there's all type of people getting deported right now. We're gonna see who's out here, what they got to say. It's the gist of it, people's points of views. Let's go, let's get it in. Yes, sir. Chemtrails, though. Look at them chemtrails. Santa Monica, what's up with them chemtrails? You don't say nothing about that, huh? Polluting the airspace. Yeah. Santa Monica City Hall is tight-lipped on that. Let's see. All right, here it is. We're rocking and clocking. Looks about 40, 50 people, 60 people.
Food.
Cracking
Dog
down.
out, chicken. I think I put this breeze, bro.
Where's the speaker at? You can't hear it.
No, I think the speakers battery got low or something.
I don't know what to tell you about that. You know, that flag that you are all flying is a flag of pride. But don't put it down when you go home. Walk with it in your heart. It's just like the pipe that my nephew holds here. We're sun dancers. We pray with the pipe. But we don't use it just at the Sundance. We don't put it down. We walk with it every single day. Be ready. Be ready to get attacked. Be ready to get hit. Be ready to get arrested. But do not be ready to be stomped on. Do not be ready to give up your pride. Do not be ready to hurt someone. Because every time we get mad at one of them, we end up hurting one of us. They really get hurt. It's our children that get hurt. It's our friends that get hurt, not theirs. So I know to a lot of you say peace doesn't come, peace doesn't do anything. You know what Look what happened with the gang members. Our black relatives, our brown relatives, they sat down at the table. Now look, our brown relatives standing right there. Over here, you got a black sister right behind me. You got a black nephew over there. I was watching him doing a power dance. We're all here. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's think about it. See, I'm 70. I can't march like you guys can. But you young people out there, you have the energy. And not only that, you have more information than I do. And I was marching. You have a lot more information on the laws. So really, we're depending on you to practice peace. And to remind us to practice peace. You're not going to get anywhere with violence. You're not. I promise you that. Violence is only going to take your loved ones. It's either going to put them in the ground or put them behind bars. So ask yourself, is your loved one worth talking about peace or talking about violence? As I tell you, at the end of the day, under the skin, we're all kin. That's all there is to it. It doesn't matter what color you are.
Be ready. Hello and welcome. My name is Sammy Lopez. I'm a descendant of the first people of the land that we're standing on today, the Tongas and your Aboriginal Indians. I just want to take this moment to recognize that this is unceded land. My ancestors fought hard for this land, and I'm grateful and proud to be here today because of my ancestors. And we just want to honor the fact that our ancestors are always going to be with us, regardless of again where you're from. So we just want to recognize that who we are and where we come from comes from people who fought hard for you. So always recognize the fact that we, in solidarity with the dignity that we created with, need to understand that we are not just the only people that are here, and we need to recognize past, present, and future always. So today I'm just going to say a quick blessing and a prayer in my language. And then again, I know we're all from different faiths, but if you want to praise yourself and again in that respectful mindset while I say my prayer, please go ahead and just say your own if you'd like. Anak ayoken tukupanga eka, oyokoi motonyan, uharin mokimen tukupra. Mai moish me mei ukor, ea tukupar, equation. Ohuvitamet tukun, unukitan, hikoron, mechimen. Ohopoha, ehopoha. Equation.
We were able to hear the wisdom of the ancient cultures, right? We always seek the wisdom of the ancient ways. We're going to move over to the Santa Monica Pier where we start thinking more constructively. So the message from this point on is going to be a little bit more prescriptive. So I hope you got some rest and you're ready to start thinking on how we're going to move forward together, using peace as our guide, using the ocean to cleanse our pain and our misery, the sun to give us the energy, and our Mother Earth to give us the means. So all together, let's say, you can hear me say, Meshika Tiawi.
Meshika Tiawi.
One more time. Meshika Tiawi.
Meshika Tiawi.
Let's go. That's what that means. People move forward.
Yeah, there's water. There's your water over there. Doesn't matter. But you're gonna get hurt. Up there with them.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice. Jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
So once it turns green, go down here and I'll get you on the sidewalk.
Jamás será vencido.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido.
Show the shirt. Let's see the shirt, man.
The shirt.
So the public can see it. Who is this that you have on your shirt?
2005, Roberto Rosico, anonymous doctor, lived in Tijuana, saw what was going on with the borderland that people freely went back and forth on.
El pueblo unido.
The
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Working. Kirk, my brother. How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good to see you.
Unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
Social income because
I like enthusiasm though.
Freedom, what do we want it now? Freedom now for everyone.
Right.
I feel like it's further. You know why?
I think Ryan likes it out there.
Yes. Wait, Ryan likes it. They like
Yeah, Ryan does. My daughter misses the family, but
as long as they're happy, right?
it's nice when you're at
And they're not in like
Jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido. Jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido. Jamás será vencido.
Microphone test. March for Humanity. How are we feeling out there? So beautiful to see everybody marching. This is a historic march. This is the largest march in the history of Santa Monica supporting immigrant rights. So give yourselves a round of applause. For all the children that are here, you study history, but today we all get to make history together. God bless you all. We're waiting for a couple more people to come in. We want to thank the Santa Monica Police Department for keeping us safe. Let's give a round of applause to our Santa Monica Police Department. Our traffic services, let's give the traffic services a round of applause as well. Thank you all very much for keeping us safe. We had a very successful march through the city of Santa Monica, through the heart of Santa Monica, down Pico Boulevard. And it's such a pleasure to see everyone out here today. My name is Oscar de la Torre. I'm one of the march organizers, and I'm a super proud moment to be here with you all today. We have some water, we have some food, so everything right there is free. The only thing that we ask, if you have $20 for the t-shirts, that's gonna help us defray the cost of everything that you see here today. The posters, the truck, they say freedom of speech is not free. So we have to make sure that we, get everybody compensated that helped make this event happen. My father and my mother, they came from Tepatitlan, Jalisco. Back in the 1960s. I was the firstborn here in Santa Monica, firstborn in the country. But they raised 8 children here. They worked hard. My mom and dad came home every day tired. I remember giving my dad foot massages and my mom as well for 25 cents because they were just, their feet were tired every day. They didn't commit any crimes. They weren't doing anything wrong, but just working hard every day, raising their children. And of the 8 children that they had, all of us ended up working in the medical field. My sisters are nurses and administrators in hospitals. My brother does radiation therapy, and all of us went into the medical field or public service. And so in the city of Santa Monica, I'd like to think that my family made a positive contribution to the city's development. And that's why we're here, because when we keep on hearing in the national debate on immigration, the word immigrant and criminal, we know that's wrong. And we know that we have an obligation to stand up and correct that record, to make sure that in the minds of people, they don't start thinking of immigrants as criminals. Right when we got here, there was two young men from Guatemala, and they asked, what is all this about? And I said, we're doing all of this for you all. And they said, well, how so? I said, well, how do you feel right now in this country? And one of them said, miedo. Miedo means fear. And he told me that he's been here for a couple of years and he's been working. Him and his friend, they came together and they're working. They're not into drugs. They're not into doing any bad harm. They're just here to work to make their life better. And I asked them, what forced you to immigrate? What forced you to come over here? And they said because the conditions back in Guatemala were so bad that there was no way to make a living. And that's the story of every immigrant that comes to this country. The economic conditions are so bad in their home country. And mind you, when we think about gangs, for example, in El Salvador, they've already put 76,000 so-called gang members in prison. But you know where those gangs came from? MS. You know where MS was born? Not in El Salvador. MS was born in the United States of America, all right? Right here in Los Angeles. So here we are exporting, right? Guns, the narcos in Mexico. The president of Mexico, Claudia, says 70% of all the guns they confiscate, 70% of all the guns, military weapons. We're not just talking about an AK-47. We're talking about military grade weapons, grenades, grenade launchers, that those are all coming from the U.S. military. So not even buying them at a gun store, but buying them, someone is selling them these weapons. So we can't just be here in this country blaming people who are trying to escape poverty or trying to escape violence when we in this country also have a responsibility for the violence that's happening in those countries, for the economic desperation that's happening in those countries. And that's why we want to change the narrative of how we're talking about immigration here in this country right now. We want families to be together. We don't want families to be separated, right? The other thing that I want to say is, someone said, well, are you guys supporting criminals? And I said, no, we'd be stupid supporting criminals, right? If someone's committing crimes, serious felonies, and they're hiding amongst us, we want them to be held accountable. That's the right thing to do. If somebody raped your sister, you know, or relative somewhere outside of the country and they're hiding here undocumented, we want them to be held accountable. So no, we do not support, you know, condoning criminality. And we do support making sure that undocumented workers have a right and to live here, have a pathway to citizenship, because they're working hard, they're not committing crimes, they have families here. And you know, I talked to a woman the other day who's been here for more than 7 years. And she said, you know, in order for me to become legal in this country, I have to leave for 10 years. She goes, what am I going to do with my children? What am I expected to do as a mother, as a single mom with my children here in this country? To just leave them here and go off and try and wait for 10 years? And that's not feasible. That's not possible. So we need a more humane policy that allows families to stay together here in this country, that the immigration process, the process for people to normalize their legal status, that it can happen here within the United States. That they don't have to leave, you know, to wherever they came from to start that process. Of course, for people that can prove that they've been working here, paying taxes, no criminal record, right? They should have an expedited process to attain citizenship. I want to bring up Danny Alonso. Daniel, come on up. Let me say this. We wouldn't be here today without Danny's vision, because the vision for the March for Humanity came from this man, Daniel Alonso. He's going to speak to you shortly, but many of you might not know this. He painted the whale mural. There's a whale mural that's on Ocean Park, a beautiful whale mural. And Danny is the artist that painted that amazing whale mural, the whale mural that we see. I met Danny when I was in the 6th grade, I believe, maybe 5th grade. I was in the 5th grade when I met Danny, and he helped us paint our own whale mural at Will Rogers Elementary School. So with that, I want to introduce our first speaker and the person who envisioned this march today. Let's give a round of applause to Mr. Daniel Alonso.
Thank you for all being here. You know, there's a saying in Spanish, "Mi alma está lleno." My soul is filled right now seeing this and watching this happen. Hello? Do you hear me now? Okay. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for coming here today. You know, there's a saying in Spanish, "Mi alma está lleno." My soul is filled. My soul is filled watching this, all you people here, watching the marches that transpire down the streets of Santa Monica. You know, I am the great-grandson of Ruperto Casillas, who came to Santa Monica in 1902. He immigrated his family at the end of the Mexican Revolution in 1918. My grandmother came to Santa Monica when she was 11 years old. My father came in 1927, an immigrant child from Tepatitlan. My great-grandfather came from Valle de Guadalupe. I know there's a lot from Valle de Guadalupe. And I am the son of an activist mother, and she taught us many things. And one thing she taught me was to be proud of being from this city and to be proud of my family's history. I've always been raised, if you know my art is all this city. I love this city even though I don't longer live here, but it is and always will be my spiritual home. One thing that I wanted to say and why this happened was, and why I wanted it here was, Santa Monica is a town that's known all over the world. It's known for celebrities, wealth, the hotels, the beaches, tourism. But I'm old enough to know that there was always a large Mexican community here in Santa Monica. We knew our place in the Pico neighborhood, but it was a large functional community and we were all well connected. And slowly that community has disappeared. Gentrification and just the times getting people out. And I wanted to show the world here in Santa Monica that there's still Mexicanos here, Latinos here, and we are fighting for our right. And it is our responsibility as descendants of immigrants that we march for these new immigrants. You know, the dreams and inspirations that my grandparents had and my great-grandfather, my father, is no different than the dreams and hopes of the new immigrants. It was possible for them to come, but now it is not possible for south of the border. And why is it it's only this racist protocol of immigration is only directed towards brown people and south of the border. And I just want to say one thing. You know, my mother was an activist when I was 13 years old. I had just turned 13. She took us here from Santa Monica to the Chicano Moratorium. She used to take me when she would picket at Lucky Market, which is now Gelson's on Ocean Park in Lincoln, and I would boycott with her Cesar Chavez for lettuce and grapes. And I hope you can just join me. Tomorrow is her birthday. So I hope you could just join me in saying, "Happy birthday, Ruth." Happy birthday, Ruth. Thank you very much.
Give a round of applause for Danny Alonso. Thank you, Danny, for your vision and your hard work. Okay, next I want to bring up to the mic someone who's an inspiring poet, an author. I was just on his radio program the other day. The poet and author, Matt Cedillo.
Thank you, Oscar. I want to thank MAPAA, and I want to thank Oscar Del Torre and all the people that done so much work. Much like Oscar, you know, I don't support criminals. So that's why I think Elon Musk should be arrested. And that's why I think Donald Trump should be arrested. Lock criminals up. All right, here we go. Here's a poem. Iron cast, hand press the heat. A pinch of salt, a cup of water. Mas, the maíz, the steel, the bridle, the cactus, the eagle, the meadows, volcanoes, the stone. On the road, deaths to roll, the children of the sun, the people of the corn. We didn't ask to be born Mexican. We just got lucky. This is a story of what has survived, what has endured. Centuries of rights and doctrine. Discovery and conquest, the land of Cortez. Suns that set and let this complete darkness. Junipero, Pizarro, Columbus, and other cannibal story began. Long before we met. But you don't know that. About anything. I mean, you said it first, you said it best. America, the beautiful America, the exceptional pilgrim's pride, which gained divine providence, the promised land, the sweet land of opportunity, the free land and rush. Guns up, go west, young manifest destiny. Broken treaty, empty promise. The real grand is not. Else Island, your part. Your nation image was be. Dirty Mexican, good dead, in the story of recovery and restoration, prophecy and legend, eagle and condor, the flight of the butterfly, the return of the jaguar, los Aztecas del Norte, or peer-reviewed, socially recited block by block, lot by lot, reinforcement showed up locked and loaded, corazada, lengua, al pastor, carnitas, cabeza, chicharrones, muere el mon, salsa de chile rojo, y viene más, caliente. You didn't ask to be born when the Mexicans took back over. You just got lucky. Taco trucks every corner.
Let's give a round of applause, Marcelillo. Okay, our next speaker is a longtime activist fighting for immigrant rights here in Los Angeles, in California. Norma Norms.
Thank you, everyone. That's a tough act to follow, but I will try my best. I do apologize. I will have to read my points because I do not want to deviate. Hello, everyone. My name is Norms. I'm a longtime immigrant and workers' rights activist or organizer here in Los Angeles, and I am a proud Oaxaqueña. I grew up in Los Angeles. I actually went to Santa Monica College and UCLA. My family has deep roots here in Southern California, and including my uncle, who is a proud owner of a pizzeria here in Santa Monica called Classic Pizza. And I'm here to share what happened this month. On March 4th, an unidentified young man tagged a swastika on one of his employees' cars and on the walls of the surrounding shopping center where his restaurant is located. This man also shouted hateful remarks to the employees as he was walking away. This act of hate is a product of the increased hateful rhetoric and actions coming out of political leaders in DC and locally. This is one of many attacks that Black and brown communities across the country and including Santa Monica continue to face. Our immigrant communities are part of the culture and economic fabric of the city and the country. People like my uncle, who is a business owner and contributes to the economic engine of this city, continue to face harassment and discrimination on the basis of race. I am here to say that this is unacceptable and must stop. We must stand in solidarity with immigrant workers, students, business owners, and the community at large to say, not in our city, not in our name. The Santa Monica Police Department must do a full investigation and ensure that hateful acts like this do not happen again. Our local leaders must protect all in the community, including Black and brown neighbors who are living in fear. Unfortunately, my uncle couldn't be here today because he couldn't step away from his restaurant, so I am here for him. I am here today to share his story, which resembles the stories of immigrants across the region, but you are welcome to go meet my uncle at his restaurant over on 26 and Pico called Classic Pizza. Thank you so much for your time.
A round of applause for Norma. Thank you very much, Norma. And look, the best revenge is our own success. Everybody support Classic Pizza on Pico Boulevard and 26, right by the house. I've had the pizza, it's really good. And it's very unfortunate that in the city of Santa Monica, we still have these type of racist attacks. But the way we fight back is to make sure that this restaurant succeeds, that this small business succeeds in the city of Santa Monica, this Latino-owned business succeeds in the city of Santa Monica. So please support Classic Pizza on 26th and Pico. Marcos Marin, I see you in the crowd. Please purchase the shirts. We want to make sure that we raise enough money to pay for this event today. It's $20. It's a historic shirt. You definitely want to have these shirts. Give it away if you don't want it yourself, but it's something to have. So one day someone's going to say, when did that happen? And you'll say, we broke the record. We made the largest demonstration for immigrant rights in the city's history happen on March 22nd. So make sure you support this March for Humanity by buying a shirt. Marcos Marin. Marcos is a father, a family man, someone who I've known for many years. He started out on 16th Street, and now he's living closer to my home, right by Edison. And Marcos, entrepreneur, hard worker, but in terms of the issue that we're talking about today, we're in a meeting organizing, and Marcos asked a really important question. He asked all of us, he said, have any of you ever lived undocumented in this country? And we all looked at each other and we said, no, like we were all born here. He's like, well, let me tell you a little bit about how it feels to be undocumented in this country right now. So with that, I wanted Marcos to share his testimony. Let's give a round of applause to Marcos Marin.
Se siente miedo. Eso se siente. Experiencia de 30 años de vivir en este país, de trabajar en este país, de contribuir en este país, de pagar impuestos en este país, de ver cómo los demás, simple y sencillamente, por ser quien eres y por lucir como eres, te odian. Yo los amo. Y yo lo único que quiero es que reconozcan que estoy aquí para contribuir. Vine a estas tierras buscando a mi padre, que trabajó en los campos de San Joaquín por 35 años, iniciando el programa Bracero, porque los Estados Unidos necesitaban ese trabajo y se los dimos. Honro a mi padre y a todos sus amigos que dejaron sus vidas, su trabajo y su esfuerzo en esos campos. Honro a todas las personas que han venido aquí a este país a contribuir. Hoy marchamos y dejamos en nuestro recorrido casas, escuelas, trabajos, en donde ahí están nuestros paisanos con miedo. Y ellos no están aquí, pero los represento. Y les digo, no tengan miedo. Lo único que nosotros necesitamos es un camino a la ciudadanía. Y cuando Oscar habla de esta mujer que ha estado aquí, ella puede ser mi prima, mi vecina, mi amiga, y yo le digo a ella y a todos los demás que no tengan miedo. Ahora puedo decir que hemos sido convocados a venir aquí, pero en este cementerio que empieza en el Río Grande, en Tamaulipas, y termina en el Pacífico, desde 1994 hasta el día de hoy, han quedado solo tumbas. 10,000 que no han podido venir aquí. Sin embargo, los represento. Siguen. 10,000 que murieron. 10,000 que murieron. Cada año me dice Oscar, ¿dónde puedo ver esto? Ponlo en el Google. 11 millones de personas removidas o deportadas cada año. no tengan miedo, no tengan miedo. Nosotros le pedimos a la presidenta desde aquí, ustedes pueden ser, si ustedes quieren y reconocen la identidad que tienen, embajadores de esta voz. Sí, que aunque su estatus sea legal, pueden pedir por nosotros, los que vivimos de manera indocumentada en este país, con miedo. No nos pueden dejar 10 años, Oscar. No pueden mandar a esta mujer 10 años allá, porque va a las manos de los grupos de carteles, que ahora este gobierno ha determinado llamarles terroristas. No pueden mandarnos allá. Si tanto le preocupa parar una guerra en un país extranjero y utilizar su política y su diplomacia, que la venga a utilizar aquí y que venga a arreglar los problemas que tiene en su casa. No somos fantasmas, somos gente, somos humanos. Por esto es una marcha por la humanidad. No tengas miedo, paisano. Levanten su vista hacia el norte, hacia el sur, y verán en un día claro los hoteles y restaurantes en donde nuestros hermanos están trabajando, están contribuyendo y están dejando su esfuerzo, pagando cada día los impuestos que este país le pide. Reconozcan entonces ese esfuerzo. Si quiere destapar nuevas leyes, que nos dé un camino a la ciudadanía, activando nuevamente la 245I, que permite que podamos arreglar nuestro caso migratorio dentro del país. El presidente quiere que nos registremos, pero tenemos miedo. Si quiere que nos registremos y nos va a correr nuestro récord criminal, está bien que lo haga, pero con condiciones. Y le pedimos que si quiere hacerlo, que nos otorgue, después de correr nuestro récord en el registro, un permiso de trabajo, porque nos lo merecemos. Gracias.
Muchas gracias, Marcos. Okay, next coming up, one of the main leaders, one of the organizers that made this event happen, a Santa Monica native, someone who's inspiring in many ways, Sylvia Sanchez, who puts on the Dia de los Muertos event here at the Carousel. So every Dia de los Muertos, just know that it's Sylvia's work that you're going to be able to experience here at the Carousel. And I want to bring Sylvia Sanchez up to the microphone. Come on out, Sylvia.
Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. I just want to say one thing. I'll say it later. Well, my name is Sylvia Sanchez, and I was born and raised here in Santa Monica. My grandfather came here in 1930. He came and he worked the railroad. My grandmother caught up with him, and she came with the kids. My mother told me that she came with her kids through the river, carrying the babies on her back, and the middle ones helping the smaller ones. And she made it, and she caught up with him at the railroad. I'm so grateful to him, to my grandfather, Ramon Prieda, for making the journey, and my grandmother, Carmen Prieda, for making the journey here. They followed the railroad and they settled here in Santa Monica. My grandfather worked for Will Rogers. He worked there until Will Rogers died, and he worked for another 2 years when Betty Rogers gave the park or the ranch to the state.
she gave him a severance. And by then, their children were all living, and they had homes and they had spouses. They all lived on 21st Street. And so at that time, my grandfather wanted to go back home, so he went back home to Mexico. He settled in Ensenada. With that severance, he bought his own ranch, and he grew chile, and he did well there. Both of my grandparents died there. But I'm so proud to see all of you that came out. I'm so thankful and so grateful. This is just the first one. We're gonna do more, so be ready. So be ready. Like I said, go get those feet taken care of. Go get those uñas cut. Because this walk was a little hard, I saw your feet. They were hurting a little bit. But I just want to say to Danny, next time you call me, I'm going to let it go to message. I'm not going to answer your call. You get me in some shit. But thank you. I just want to say, Viva Santa Monica! All right, you guys stay blessed. Thank you.
Okay, next on the mic, another powerful woman, just like Sylvia. Very special in my life because she happens to be my wife and it's her birthday. So let's all round of applause for Maria Loya. I first met Maria when she was organizing around immigrant rights issues in Austin, Texas. She was in the state capitol fighting for bilingual education, to have bilingual instructors in the schools over there, fighting for immigrant rights, organizing immigrant leaders in the city of Austin, Texas. And that's when I met her, when she was doing that work. So it's just great to see the consistency and her leadership in the city of Santa Monica. We're blessed to have her here. My two sons are in the back, Fidel and Oscar, and Annie in the back over there. Thank you all very much. So you all might not know this, but here in the city of Santa Monica, the Latino community has waged a fight, a legal fight, against the city of Santa Monica for the election system that they operate. It's an at-large election system. And the Pico neighborhood has been left behind. We've never had representation from that part of the city until just 2020. And so we want to change the election system. This legal fight, the city has already spent $14 million fighting Latino voting rights. So I want Maria Loya to come up, who's the lead plaintiff in the case, to come and tell us a little bit about that. Round of applause for Maria Loya.
Hi, everyone. Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm here today. I'm marching here today to support undocumented workers. I'm here to support the undocumented workers that help our country prosper. I'm here to stand with the undocumented workers that help facilitate our food supply gets distributed throughout our country. I'm here to stand with the undocumented workers that work in the slaughter homes to make sure that we have our meats. I'm here to stand with the undocumented worker that makes our life better here in the United States. Yes. And it's important for us to stand with undocumented workers because right now they're being characterized as violent criminals, and we all know that that's not true. If we want to create a better life for every American, we need to support undocumented workers. We need to stand together. I'm here also, as Oscar was saying, we've been fighting the city. Mexican American have been fighting the city of Santa Monica for close to 10 years. We've been trying to get fair elections in Santa Monica, and the city council has continued to fight us. The city has spent more than $14 million, but rather than have district elections here in Santa Monica, rather than providing fair elections to ensure that the Pico neighborhood always has a representative, they continue to misuse our public dollars. The city of Santa Monica is using our public dollars, the people's money, to fight the people. We need to stand together and let them know that the days of the past, the days of unfair elections, the days of ensuring that Mexican Americans from the Pico neighborhood don't get elected are done with. We will stand together and we will push that they provide free and fair elections in Santa Monica. I want to thank you all because together we will not be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Today we march. Hoy marchamos, mañana votamos. Tomorrow we vote. We get organized, right? That's exactly what we need to do. You know, I grew up all my life, they called us minorities. We're no longer the minority anymore. 58% of all the children in the public education system in the state of California, from kindergarten through 12th grade, are Latino alone, 58%. So we're no longer a minority, we're the new majority. But we need the system to work for us. We need an election system that's fair. And so I'm really glad that Maria spoke. We're gonna follow up. This march is not just an end all. We created a new organization, right under here, right under. It says the Mexican American Policy and Advocacy Alliance. Policy, we change the laws, we change the rules so that we can improve the social conditions. And advocacy, we want to advocate. We need to tell people what the problems are and what the solutions are, because we have those ideas. So we invite all of you to join us. Make sure you talk to Maria. Maria has a sign-in sheet. You can give us your email and we will let you know what the next steps are. But we will be going to city council. We will be going to the school board. We will be going to the college board to make sure that our children and the people right now that are the new majority, that we have the resources, the programs, the budget that respects our needs as well. So with that, I want to bring our next speaker up, an attorney, someone who's been fighting on the same issues of immigrant rights. Let's give a round of applause to Mr. Dan Marquez.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you all for being here today. You know what I see? I see democracy in action here. Because this is what democracy looks like. It doesn't look like us running and being afraid to organize, to get together in public, to state our views, to state our grievances. That's what the First Amendment is for. And that's why we are here. Now, a little bit about myself. I was raised mostly in the Westside, attended Santa Monica College in the 70s. The last march I went to in Santa Monica was against the Rodino bill, against Prop 187. And it is so good to see another march happening now, particularly in these times. So, congratulations for making it out here today. Now, I was asked to speak by a compañero who couldn't be here today, Francisco Juarez. Him and I are both veterans. I served in Vietnam in the Marine Corps. I went because I thought that's what we should do. I found out that they sent us to fight people that look just like my people. Brown and didn't speak English. Farm workers. I came back. I got involved. I stayed in school. I got an education, but I was lucky because there are brothers that didn't come home. They're not here. If they were here today, they would tell you what I'm telling you, that we need to have our service honored. We don't need to be stripped of the pictures and our biographies from the Medal of Honor books that the Department of Defense has put up. All right? So I would prefer to see our youth staying in the community, getting an education, working like we're working here today. All right? Now, I was lucky in other ways. I was asked today to speak also on the issue of immigrants and my experience with immigrants, either in my family or people that I knew. The only problem is my grandfather was born in La Mesilla, New Mexico, which, if you don't know, its claim to fame is that it's the town where the Guadalupe de Hidalgo had to be rewritten because the boundaries changed one year due to the storm. So I'm in that group of people, like some of you may be, where we didn't cross the border crossed us, which is cool, which is fine, but it didn't make any difference because the minute they signed that treaty, they broke it. There's one great Indian leader that said, The Americans have made many promises, but there's only one that they kept. They promised to take our land and they took it, just the way they took the land in the Southwest. So we have all experienced some sort of discrimination as a result of being treated as second-class citizens, but those days are over. We refuse to be treated as second-class citizens anymore. Now, I can tell you a story about somebody in my life who was a victim not only of harsh immigration laws, but of illegal, unjust, and violent foreign policies on the part of the United States. I've lived with a woman for the last 40 years who at the age of 14, her and her family had to flee from El Salvador because her sister was an activist with the lay community and they had put her on the death list. She had a younger brother who was of age to fight in the military, and the right-wing military had him on the list for kidnapping and for compulsory service. So they fled. They had 3 attempts to get over. They got over, but they were traumatized, and they are still traumatized today. And I am a witness to that. That the trauma that I see in my personal life, I see and I feel in the immigrant community that is under pressure today. They're walking around with targets on their back. They're just looking to round up people, deport them, maybe even send them to Guantanamo. They send them to Guantanamo, and we don't speak. What's to stop them from stripping the citizenship from people who have naturalized? What's to stop them from taking away my rights just because I criticize the government and I end up in Guantanamo? It can happen. It has happened. We have been here before. So we must organize. We must stay strong. We must stay vigilant, and we must fight back. And joining this organization, in my opinion, or this community, is a good way to start. So I encourage you all to stay strong, stay active, stay supportive, get involved. God bless you all. Thank you.
Really quick, I have an announcement. There's a table over here to my right. This is a movement going on here in Santa Monica. There's more than 100 residents that are at risk of losing their homes. An apartment building where a lot of families have lived there for many years. In fact, they call themselves Generations of Virginia Avenue. And so before you leave, please stop by their table. They have a petition that you can sign. And this is one way that you can make a difference to ensure that Latino families get to stay in the city of Santa Monica. They were promised that they would rehabilitate their building, and now they're saying they can't find the money to do that. So we want to get the city government to do what's right to make sure that these families get to stay here in the city of Santa Monica. So please, before you leave, make sure you go to the Generations of Virginia Avenue table to sign their petition. Okay, so with that, I have a few more speakers to go. So please hold tight because we're almost done. We got about 15 more minutes. Manny's Manny's going to introduce the next speaker. Go ahead, Manny.
Okay, everybody. So as you can tell, when we started this, we were talking about the psychology, right? We were going to attack the premise. We came to the park and we got spiritual. This is where we have to start becoming more intellectual. And so I'm going to read something that we take for granted, which is mind-boggling. This is directed to all the lawyers out there. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights that make among these are the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These are the founding words that all laws have to live up to. The Constitution has to meet this vision. This also means that there's no society, there's no human construction, there's no government, no leader that can stop a person, any person, from pursuing their liberty, from pursuing their property, from pursuing their life. And that is exactly what we let happen every single day when we allow the government to even have an immigration law. Yes, we have control and the power to determine who could be a citizen, but we don't have the right to stop people from moving around the planet that God put them on. And so I just want to challenge the lawyers here. There's a fight to be fought at the Supreme Court, and that fight is saying the Supreme Court, you don't have jurisdiction over how we move about the country, how we move about the land. You don't have standing. You're a mere human. You're like the rest of us, pitiful humans. Now, if you were a god and you came to the land, then maybe you can tell someone from El Salvador that they can't be here. It's that simple. And we have to start breaking the premise, breaking these small paradigms that we just voluntarily forfeit. Like the issue with the city of Santa Monica, spending $14 million on something that should have cost the taxpayer nothing, just by living up to the word of the people. So, with that said, let that resonate with you. If you're a lawyer, there's a case, there's an argument, a strong argument that the Supreme Court doesn't have the standing to make a decision on how we move about this nation. Okay, the next speaker that we're bringing up is one of my colleagues and a longtime friend. We started our work working in some of the toughest housing developments in Los Angeles, doing community work, job training, placement work, working with young people, and shifting the dynamic on how people in public housing are treated. And we did a lot of great work. I went on to run all over the country doing things. He went on to do some amazing intellectual work. I'm proud to call him my colleague. He's the program director of Homies Unidos, and Homies Unidos is the sponsoring organization for today's event. One of the sponsoring organizations. I gotta say that for legal reasons. Anyhow, the lawyers will understand. Hold on. Here's Ruben Ledesma.
Hello, everyone. How we doing? Woo! You know what? Let's give each other a good clap. Come on now. And I tell you why we got to clap. Because we're using energy in our favor. We now live in a moment where everything you do from the minute that you get up, you have to use frequency, you have to use vibration, you have to use energy in your favor. We have to guard our mind from all the propaganda that goes on. We have to guard our heart from all the injustice that goes on. And we have to guide our behavior in a way that we be platforms, that we build and create roads for others to follow. How many are with me today? As a young man growing up in the housing projects, I was told that I only had two choices. Those two choices was either I had to choose a life of crime or a life of poverty. And for a split moment, I believed that. Going through juvenile hall, going through those moments, and being incarcerated, I believed that my life was destined to just accept crime. And somewhere along the line, someone said that that was not true, that I did not have to choose a life between crime and poverty, that there was a third option. And from that moment, I understood my self-worth, and I understood my value. And today, I stand with you as one, understanding that we can make a difference, guys. As you guys can read this shirt says, believing in the possibility of a world without violence. What does that mean? When you get up every day in the morning, what do you believe? As you stand on here, as you march, what is it that you believe? I want to challenge you to believe for the right cause. I want you guys to lift up your hands. Come on, in unity. Lift your hand up. I lift my hand up for all those individuals that sometimes feel hopeless, that sometimes need a voice. Divided, we are what? Echoes. But together, we are voice, and we are here united as a voice, no longer an echo. Every day we have an opportunity to make a difference, guys. Every day. As the programs director at Homies, we live by the letter of the law with our contractual obligations to go inside the prisons, the juvenile halls, and meet those individuals that sometimes feel there is no more hope. And we provided service based on the contracts that we get, the funding. But there is also a spirit of the law. And that spirit of the law allows us to transcend. Recently, we purchased a home in El Salvador for individuals that are getting deported so they could have a place to land, so they could have a place to call home, so they could have a unit group to support them. Yesterday, I was told that we purchased a bakery. So it was not just a home, but actually develop a place of business so individuals could have an income. That's the spirit of the law. So as I stood here, as I stand up and direct this message, I want to challenge every single one of you to believe, to understand what is it that's important to you. What is it that you're willing to die for? What is it that you're willing to march for? What is it that you're willing to leave behind as a legacy? One of the biggest questions I always tell people, who are you? And they always tell me, I'm a mother of two, I'm this and I'm that. And I always tell them, if you look inside your skin, you're gonna find the elements. And the elements that we have, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, helium, the same elements found in the stars. So guess what we are? We are the universe. It's not just a motivational speech. It's a fact who we are. And this is a moment to act like the universe. This is a moment to lift up our voice. This is a moment to unite. This is a moment to understand that there's something out there greater than us. We are the seeds of our ancestors that many years ago, many believe were conquered, but they were never conquered. We're the seeds. We're not rooting up. We're the flowers. We're the ones that letting everybody know that my ancestors never died. They live in me. And they're going to continue living in me until my very last breath. And then the next generation comes up. So again, thank you guys. I'm honored to be here with you in unity. And I wish you all a very an amazing day. God strong.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Homies Unidos, for being one of the sponsors. I met this next attorney, a civil rights attorney, when she was defending street vendors here in the city of Santa Monica. And she's been an activist for many years. Tremendous amount of respect for this attorney coming up, Cynthia Anderson Barker.
I'm just here today to give all of you some tools to do what you all have been talking about. At the table over there, we have a list for getting signatures to support a sanctuary city in Santa Monica. There are already 13 sanctuary states and 220 sanctuary cities, but Santa Monica is not one of them, and they haven't moved on it. So go over to the Lawyers Guild table there, and you'll see Julie Martinez. She'll give you the materials that you can use to help Santa Monica become a sanctuary so that there's never collaboration and cooperation with ICE. Also, on that table are some Know Your Rights cards, the red cards, and I want each of you to take as many as you like because you can pass them out, and that red card has the right to remain silent written on it in Spanish and English, so that if anyone is stopped by ICE, they can hand them the card and say, I have the right to an attorney. I'm not talking to you. Here's the card, read it. So please take as many of the red cards as you like. And finally, there's Know Your Rights materials. If ICE comes to the employers where you work, etc., it says what your employer can do and what you can do to stop ICE from doing a raid. So we have lots of action materials for you. Please take them, and thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cynthia, for all your work. We have two more speakers left, and then we're closing out. Gary Averick. Gary, we can get up to the microphone really quick. Gary's a longtime activist here in the city of Santa Monica. I first learned about him when he was student body president at Santa Monica College. Let's give a round of applause to Gary.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming out. When I look out, I see a movement of people from all over the world right here supporting immigrants. I'm an immigrant here in Aslan. Obviously, this was all part of Mexico, right? So just want you to know, I was born here in Santa Monica. I worked at my family's Mexican restaurant, Culver City Tito's, as a kid. I do want to do a shout out to Moises Campos, who passed away last year. Great business owner in Santa Monica that supported the neighborhood and has a great restaurant I still love to go to all the time. And I did want to also do a shout out to Bernice Onofre from the IEEDAC, the Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District's Intercultural Equity and Excellence District Advisory Committee. We worked together for several years. And of course, Oscar, we have some history and a few rallies. So look, Martin Luther King said that injustice for any of us is injustice for all of us. We're a country based on laws, and we have a lawless president. We have a lawless government right now. It's scary to all of us. This is one movement, and you know, I'm a senior citizen. I just started getting my Social Security, and now I'm concerned, will I get my second check? You know, so there are a lot of issues going on, but we cannot put food on the table without immigrants. We cannot put food on the table. We can't do pretty much anything in this country without immigrants. And I'm inspired by all these marches that are happening around the country and now around the world. But we're in an uphill battle right now against fascism and Nazis and white supremacists from South Africa and that might be running our country without us even knowing it, people unelected. And so I stand with all immigrants, whether you're documented or not, because we are all immigrants. Our nation's built on immigration. Our Constitution acknowledges that. It is my job as an American to protect everybody's viewpoints, religions, ethnicities, traditions. That's called being an American and being a patriot. So let's get rid of all this fake patriotism. You know, flying a flag to fly a flag means nothing. It's what you do every day to fight to preserve our Constitution, preserve your rights and those of your neighbor, whether you like them, agree with them, or don't. It doesn't matter. If they're here, and again, whether they're a legal, documented, or undocumented person, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter to us. What should matter to us is that we have good neighbors that we can trust in an emergency. People that will be there to help us build our country. This is the America I want to live in. I hope you do too. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Lydia, you want to, yeah? Okay, our next speaker is another attorney. We're glad to have attorneys, and Rigo Vasquez, come on up.
Thank you, Oscar. Rigo Vasquez here. I'm an employment law attorney, but that's a recent turn. I was in corporate law, working at the corporate towers, the Ivory Towers, for 20 years. But I'm also an immigrant. I'm a child of immigrants. I grew up in Southgate. My dad worked at Farmer John Meats for over 30 years. So you can say that I lived the American dream. But as a Latino, I think as a community that's connected in our souls to who we are, we have to listen to that voice within us, right? We're a pueblo. We're not an individualistic people who says, I'm good, let me live my life. So I listen to the voice within me, and my circle of friends have said, you have a voice to share. And why I'm here today, as maybe the last speaker, I know Danny and us are going to close it out in the right way, is to say we all need to kind of get in touch with our humanity. To America, every person has to get in touch to who we are, what we feel in our souls, and listen to that so that we can stand up, and some average person like me can come up here, and maybe it'll be you next time, because we need everyone's voice. We need everyone's voice to stand up for what we know is right for the people, for our community. Today is the immigrant community that we're protecting as immigrants, but there is so much destruction,
death going on in our world today that we all need to use our voice and stand up in every little way that we can. So I'm here just as the average person to say, listen to that voice, because that voice has changed my life today. I left the corporate world about a year ago, and now I'm an employment law attorney fighting for workers' rights. And it feels so good. So let's remember, let's listen to our voices, and let's be united across all the issues. We have to unite America beyond the brown and black. We need to unite America on the purple and yellow and white in every aspect and in every geography. So today, I do want to mention that my heart is heavy for what is happening in Palestine. I cannot take this stage and not acknowledge the death and destruction that's happening to brown people for over a year. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. So I'll take this moment to say we all need to stand up and fight against that injustice, that horror against humanity, against the crimes against us as people, as humans. So let's use our voices any way we can. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the organizer, Oscar, Manny, Danny, for allowing me to come up here. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Rigo. Okay, our last speakers are coming all the way from Venice High School. And you know, it's always inspiring for me to see, you know, the students, but also the teachers. And here we have a teacher and a student, Alejandro and Kaz. Come on up. Let's give them a round of applause for our last speakers.
Thank you guys. So yeah, my name is Alejandro. I'm not only a teacher at Venice High School, I'm an alumni of Venice High School. I grew up in Culver City. And as you guys may know, especially with the news recently, it's been a little bit harder to be an educator recently with the attacks on our education system, on our education department, feeling safe with what we can and can't teach. I talk about Palestine in my classroom, and I have to worry about if I'm going to face backlash for talking about what's going on over there. So it's been a very difficult time to be a teacher now. But one of the very many bright spots I've had, especially recently, I also sponsor MAPAA at Venice High School. And if you guys saw in the news last month, Venice High School students, along with SAMO students, they staged a walkout on February 6th. And I was there to watch the students make their signs, gather people to support them on social media. And my proudest moment as a teacher for the last 5 years was watching those students walk out, protest, chant, march, and really make a statement, because our youth are going to be really important moving forward. So really proud of the youth for organizing that. And not only on the west side, but all over LA. East Side schools walked out for 5 days straight. And so very proud of our students. I actually have Kaz, who's a MAPAA member, and she's going to speak a little bit about her experiences during the walkout. And also, just to add on my final part, if you guys hadn't heard, that day when Venice students walked out on February 6th, some of our students were approached and verbally and physically assaulted by some white racist people as they were marching. And up until now, we've had little to no cooperation from the district or police on apprehending those people who assaulted minors as they were exercising their First Amendment rights. So I want to make sure that we put pressure on the police department and the school district to make sure that we protect our students when they go out there and when they exercise their First Amendment rights. Us teachers have been asking to go out with our students to protect them, and we have not been allowed to. They're kind of on their own, and I believe that really needs to change, because we've seen that these people do not care if they're minors or not. They will try to attack us when we're voicing our opinions. So with that being said, I'm gonna let Kaz talk about her experiences during the walkouts.
Hi, I would like to say I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be here. I thought I would be late, but I surprisingly got here early. But my experience with the walkout, I felt very nervous. The adrenaline really got me going though. My friend kind of forced me out when I was trying to pass through the main building with all the other participant students. And it was fun, honestly, when we kept walking and we kept continuing what we wanted to do. I couldn't stop smiling, honestly. I was really happy. I was glad we were able to do something that could help the people who can't speak, the people who can't stand up for themselves because they fear. Though we did have a lot of disagreements and a lot of people who weren't by our side and that didn't really care about anything. And I would just say I don't condone with it, but by all means, I don't really like when people disagree in such a violent matter, whether verbally or physically. Though we do have our own opinions, we all know what's right and we all know what to do to make it right. And I'm just glad we were able to do it in like a peaceful manner and whatnot. And I was glad we were able to do something as a whole unit and as a community together, especially since I'm here today. This is my second time ever doing a protest like this within my 16 years of life. So I'm very glad to be here. I would like to end this off with a quote that I've heard from a show. This quote really hit me when I heard it, but it goes like this. Let me see. The world will always try to tear us down, and when they do, we smile because we know who we are. Thank you.
Okay, Lydia Ponce, she shares some words really quick.
Aquí estamos. Y si nos echan. It's an honor to be with you. I am Quechua and Mayo and Scottish. And I don't care about papeles. It's always about papeles. Sin papeles, con papeles, siempre esperando para papeles. We're always waiting for papers. We're always waiting for some kind of affirmation because you have papers or you don't have papers. You know what papers are good for? To wipe your ass when you run out of toilet paper or to burn to keep yourself warm. Let's be real. All we need is clean drinking water, good nutritious food, and we need to know our neighbors, even if they have a 9-foot wall with trees and shrubbery and a number code that they need to know who the heck you are if you're delivering food, not bombs, when the earthquake hits or when the ocean tide comes up and takes everybody out. Not everybody's gonna make it. So get together and have a plan. Find the local gardeners, help, grow food, be the revolutionary people that we were from before. Our ancestors taught us where to grow food, how to grow food, and every which way. Because as gente, as indigenous people, in the 4 directions, we've always had the plan, twice colonized in our not our language, English and Spanish. 4 directions, indigenous people. We need to know how to take better care of one another because that's who we've always been. And the plan is, ni modo, say it with me. Ni modo. Tenemos que? Luchar. Say it with me. Tenemos que? Tenemos que. It means we always have to, no matter what fashion, no matter which way. It's Mexican, not Mexicant. And lastly, I want to say, it was never our condition to work in silos. Yeah, we might not like one another and give each other the side eye, but when it comes to our community, the West Side is the best side, and we need to show up for one another in the best way we can, the best version, to make our ancestors proud. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Lydia. I see Eddie in the house. All right, brother. Okay, so with that, any special announcements? I want to make sure that you all sign the petition. There's a table right over here for Generations of Virginia Avenue. Let's help keep Latinos living here in the city of Santa Monica. Make sure you sign the petition. Also, make sure you pick up any trash. If any of you all see any trash, please pick it up so that we can leave the pier as nice as we found it. Today was a historic march. This March for Humanity. A historic march that all of you made possible. None of this could have happened without the organizers, without you all participating, without the people speaking, with the brother driving the truck, the DJ. It's a lot of work to make all of this happen. The people that brought you the water, that made the signs. It's really a community effort that made this happen today. So it's a beautiful example of how Santa Monica, the Westside, can come together to fight for a better world. And so I want to thank you all. God bless you all for being here today. God bless.